Hello people of Earth and other YouTube watchers, my name is Kristen and today we're doing my March read. So it's basically what I did manage to read in March. Most of it I actually read in the past 4 or 5 days. Kind of been in a reading slump like February, March, but I think I'm out of it and I'm so excited to begin knocking through my TBR because it is now freaking huge. But to actually talk about what I managed to do, the first books that I read this month was a reread by Jennifer Armentrout, and that was the Lux series. Obsidian, Onyx, Opal, Origin, and Opposition. I lent the first 2 to my friend, and he hasn't given them back yet, so I only have the last 3. I reread them. As always, they're amazing. Basically, if you don't know about this series, it's Twilight, but better written with aliens and likable characters who do things. Basically, it's centered around this girl named Katie. She moves next door to aliens in the first book, and then the rest of them are about her adventures as she learns about them, and other stuff is spoilers, but there's a lot of action, there's romance, it's really cute, and the covers have sparkles on them. I don't know if you can see it, but they do, and that's great. They're really enjoyable, and they're pretty light to read. They're not very dense or exhausting, so definitely pick them up if you haven't yet, and you like that kind of alienistic, romancy, action kind of feel to it. The next book that I read was actually kind of a short story. If you don't know, Cassandra Clare is releasing these stories about one of the characters, because spoilers, as this character goes through the Shadowhunter Academy. So this is The Lost Herondale, and I read it on my Kindle because it's only coming out in e-reader format for now, and it was so good. And basically it's about like their first battles and this person kind of fitting in, and really the first one, which was Welcome to Shadowhunter Academy, was about meeting people and finding where this person would sleep and just kind of joining it, and this is about their life as in Shadowhunter Academy. And it's really good, so if you like Cassandra Clare's stuff, unless you're actively waiting for the full paper version of the book to come out, please read it because it's so good, and also somewhat heartbreaking, because it's written by Cassandra Clare, so why wouldn't it be heartbreaking? The next books that I read this month, I have owned the first one on e-reader for a very long time, and I finally got into reading it because I was literally sitting there bored going, Mom, I don't know what book to read, and she's like, read this one. And since I hadn't read it yet, I'm like, okay, and that would be The Darkest Mind by Alexandra Bracken. I loved it. I haven't read superpowers before, but this is about kids with superpowers, and they're classified by color based on what they can do. So this is about a girl who was put into a camp at age 10, and she tricked the person into thinking she's classified as a green, which isn't very dangerous, so she was treated better than what she actually is, which were the oranges. And it's such a cool story, and then basically she's in this camp, and she runs away, and she meets a bunch of people, and then you meet Liam, and God, it's amazing, and I absolutely loved it. So of course, as soon as I read that on e-reader, I'm like, Mom, I need these books. So I went onto Amazon and I ordered all 3 of the series, Darkest Minds, Never Fade, and In the Afterlight. And they are all so good, and I just blew through these 3 books in 2 days, just about. The characters are awesome and a lot more realistic. I found the romance in these novels is healthier than in a lot of novels that you read today. You'll find a lot of rebellious girls, and it's not that I don't appreciate rebellion, it's that they don't think things through, and they're so busy trying to be rebellious that they don't actually talk to their boyfriends, and that's a huge pet peeve of mine, where they're just kind of like, well, I want to do something, so I'm going to, and then I'm going to lie to you about it, and then I'm going to do something else stupid, and then I'm going to lie to you about it again. And, like, I can still love these characters, but they still kind of annoy me at the same time. And in this one, everything's a lot healthier. They, like, talk to each other most of the time, and they work things out, and everything works out better for them because of that. But if you like superpowers, if you like kick-ass characters at all, if you like cute little girls who like pink but are also awesome or are named Zoo, definitely pick up the series. I recommend it. 5 out of 5 stars for all 3. The next book that I read, I borrowed from my friend, and this is The List by Siobhan Vivian. It's centered around a high school called Mount Washington High, and every year a list is posted with the 4 prettiest girls in the school and the 4 ugliest, one from each grade. It was not my favorite book. like, I liked it okay, and the idea was kind of interesting until about here. But once I passed the halfway mark, it felt repetitive and boring. It spans a week of time, and so some of the things I got to the point where I didn't care that much. Most of the high school girls were kind of obnoxious and overly obsessed with being pretty, which I should have known going into it because it's literally a book focusing on if you're pretty or not. Silly me. So anyway, yeah, that was this. 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5 stars, not a favorite. The next book that I read was actually an audiobook, and I don't have it because I lent it to my mom so she could listen to it in the car, and that is The Penderwicks in Spring by Jeanne Birdsall. I have the first Penderwicks here. Basically, this is the 4th book in a 5-book series, I think it's gonna be, and it just came out, and it's centered around 4 girls, Batty, Jane, Skye, and Rosalind, and their friend Jeffrey, and overall, it was so completely different than I imagined. Between the first 3 books, it only changed about 6 months to a year between each of the books, so they didn't change ages all that much. But in the 4th book that I just read, The Penderwicks in Spring, the 4-year-old in this book was in 5th grade, and she grew up, and just hearing that was, why is she so old? I'm not okay with this. Batty can't be old. So I had a bit of a shocked moment at the beginning. But overall, it was a really cute story. Parts of it made me sob. Parts of it had me laughing and jumping up and down at 2 a.m. in the morning because I'm bad at going to sleep. It was so cute and sweet and well written. It was not a disappointment at all, and I'm so excited for the next book. So if this was your childhood, even remotely close to how much it was my childhood, definitely read or listen to The Penderwicks in Spring. It was absolutely fantastic. If you read it, or if you love the Penderwicks, or literally anything about any of them, please comment it below because, oh, we can fangirl. Alright, and the final book that I read this month, that I finished probably an hour and a half ago, was Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. It gave me a bit of an existential crisis to read this book, but it was so good. Basically, this is a story about 2 boys. One is named Aristotle, one is named Dante, and Ari and Dante meet one summer when they're 15, and they become friends, and neither of them is really popular. None of them really love companionship that much, but Dante is cheerful and happy, and he loves his parents, and he's very open about everything, and Ari probably says 100 words a day, and most of that's talking to his mom, and then he just doesn't talk, and that's all he does. And he doesn't like to talk and doesn't like to express his feelings, but overall, the 2 of them are just going through a bunch of stuff. There are accidents and crashes and things that make you very, very angry, but they're wonderful, and it was so well written, I could not put it down. It was absolutely fantastic. So if you're interested in that slightly deeper, more meaningful reads, as opposed to like a quick, fast read, I definitely suggest this one. It's probably one of my favorite books. I have to buy it. I have this from the media center at my school, and I need to own this. It's beautiful. So definitely pick this up. Please comment it below if you read it so that I can fangirl with you because it's so good and I just need to flap my arms like a chicken. Well, I guess this is chicken. What is this? Also comment what this is. What kind of bird is this? Alright everybody, so those are the books that I read this month of March 2015. Leave a comment below if you read any of these books, like if you liked these videos, subscribe for more of them. If you have any type of videos you suggest I make so that I update more, comment those below too. I will leave links in the doobly-doo to my Goodreads and Twitter and... you know, probably I'll put Tumblr down. Why not put Tumblr down? And my Tumblr. Actually, I also wanted to say, the reason I haven't been updating is because I left my tripod at my friend's like a month ago, and I haven't gotten it back yet. I'm actually filming this on my iPhone instead of my video camera. But, you know, so until I see you again, read, adore, and ship it more. Goodbye. It's centered around a high school called Mount Washington. Yes. There is this one girl who's Abby's older sister. Her name is Fern, and she is a book nerd. And I liked that about her. But Fern wasn't really in the story all that much because Abby was the one on the list.